त्वमज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। Everything in this world has personal nature. We will try to understand. It's a very important understanding. We are discussing about different incarnations of Lord. This is a very important topic. So in this world, to be happy, we need to have relationships. There are different levels of happiness. There is happiness at the level of senses, like I get something to eat, I enjoy, and then there is which is not actually very high. Senses enjoy. I go and eat. I I can see some things. I can hear some things. After some time, you'll not be satisfied. You need to have a relationship. Then we go for relationship. But the problem in this world is relationship is then that is emotional level we experience more happiness. Even if we gain some success also, we want to share with someone. Arjuna was having the same problem. He said, even if I become victorious, the people whom I am, mm, uh, whom should I show my victory for? That is his problem. So now here we will try to understand. Now another problem is when we develop relationship, then there is a problem. The problem is we the relationships break. That is the very serious problem for all of us because we cannot have the relationship continuously. No matter how much a person is intelligent or anything, but this is the state of this world. We will not be able to keep the relationship permanently. There will be always separation. This is the problem. That means nobody can enjoy permanently in this world. Now, there is one more important discussion I want to do today, which will be very helpful. We have discussed this, I will continue from there, but I'll just make a revision for all of you. Just, just give me a second. So here we have discussed yeah, first is God is infinite in every part. So this just a revision for all of you. If you take a small tiny particle of energy, we try to dig it, then we'll never get into the bottom. So as physics is scientists, nuclear scientists, they are trying to split atom, and they understood there is atom is the smallest indivisible particle. That they understood no, there is further you go down, then there are electrons, protons, neutrons, and then they understood then there are quarks also, and then they dig further, then they found that there are neons, and then there are mesons. So no matter how much we go down, we will find it is inexhaustible. That is, it is infinite. Why? Because it is coming from the Supreme Lord. If you take the smallest particle of creation, even a piece of wood, it is impossible to fully understand it. Now it is inexhaustible to the end, and understanding everything is impossible because God is inexhaustible. Source is inexhaustible. This we have discussed. This is called from the philosophy called Satkaryavad. Satkaryavad is that the cause is manifested in the effect. The effect is always in the cause. That means since the cause of all the things is inexhaustible, everything that we see also is inexhaustible by definition. And there is always a consequence in the cause, like that. Now, since all causes of all things is inexhaustible, everything that we see in principle, by definition, is also inexhaustible. Now, like we discussed the famous example of a scientist. He is a herpetologist. He is a German scientist. He was trying to understand the germs in the intestine. It's Hermanita, some germ was there. Now, when he was studying for many, many years, then he was asked, so did you not get bored? He said, no, the germ is very big and my lifetime is very small, even though it is such a tiny germ. But because now, if we cannot understand a small worm in our intestine, which is unlimited for us, how can we understand unlimited Lord? Right? If we are applying all our intelligence, all our powers, and when He give us given by God, we try to understand this. It is actually foolishness. We cannot understand the Supreme Lord. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was talking to Sanatana Goswami, he says that even Lord Brahma cannot understand. Now, our topic of discussion is first is we need to know that we cannot understand. Then we have to realize that we don't understand. Third is then what is the way to understand? So there are the 3 points of discussion. First, to know that we cannot understand. First, understanding that we don't understand and realize that we don't understand. Now, the fact is God is incomprehensible, is fully affirmed by all the great authorities. Even Upanishad says, he who says that I know does not know. And he who says that I do not know, maybe he may know something. That is what Upanishad says. And then we discussed the story of Socrates also. Prabhupada called him he is the most intelligent of the Western philosophers. He's the greatest Western philosopher. He's the smartest. So Dilopic Pocorial was approached to find out who is the smartest person. Dilopic Oracle. He says that Socrates is the smartest man in Greece. Socrates was really surprised. He sincerely was surprised, and he went to find out how is it he made this statement about us. And then after meeting so many people, then he understood, yes, I am the smartest. Because everybody thinks they know something. Only person who understands that I don't know anything. That is the difference. Yes, Gilmataji.
Hi, Krishna Prabhu. Yeah, what is the difference between understanding that you don't understand and realizing that you don't understand?
I know theoretically that I don't understand, but I don't have that realization because that realizations bring humility. Still, that false ego is there to acknowledge that I really don't know anything. What happens is there is some blockage to get even that
No,
realization.
yeah, but to I don't know what it means to say theoretically. I understand that I don't understand. Theoretically.
See, like now I am saying I don't know, but I don't live by that principle of I don't know. If I live by I don't know, then I am very humble person. I really am like this. Now I don't live by that principle of I don't know. The ego does not accept it. No, you already know so many shlokas. I know so many concepts. I know. So that humility got developed.
Okay. So you said first step to theoretically understand that you don't know, then to realize that. And
Yeah.
then third was what?
What is the method to know? That I'll come to it.
Okay. Thank you.
Like now, if I am living by that principle, I'm very humble person. And then when I chant, I'm really feeling, my dear Lord, I'm fallen person. I don't know anything. I'm in ignorance. I don't feel I'm completely. At least theoretically, I know. Maybe by doing my sincere sadhana, I get that realization. Yes, now I'm very fallen soul. Now, the essence of this is the starting point of knowledge. The first step is which we can stay that at least understand something and honestly admit yes, yes. Now, what happens is as long as I proudly declare that I know something, I understand something, it means that person is in complete ignorance. And if I admit that I have internal humility, this is what is needed: internal humility, honesty to admit. In general, yes, even ant is better than compared to me. Ant can understand human being something, but I cannot understand Supreme Lord. I am very insignificant. But this is the starting point from which the process of knowledge begins. And now, okay, if you say that, okay, this is ant, there is it does not make any sense if we are not knowing anything. If we simply state that God is incomprehensible, then what are we doing here, sitting and reading Bhagavatam and wasting our time doing our japa? How can we understand? No, Brahma says that I understand Supreme Lord also in this chapter again. And uh, and uh, then there is then he gives a long list of people who can understand. What does it means that even if it is incomprehensible, there is a secret of his comprehension, how it is revealed to him. That is given in the 42 to 48 verses in this same chapter only. Now, we will try to get it before only because we are in 25th. But I will give the formula. This is very important because Brahma, he has no false modesty. He simply says, I know, and many people know also. But he says there is a path to comprehend, and although it is difficult, but it is accessible. People have accessible to everything. Now, even not only humans, animals also can access this. That is what it is told. There are many other ways of trying to understand. See, the modern way of understanding, the comprehending the world is what they do. They crush everything to analyze. They break it into pieces and pieces and pieces. They put into microscope and see, then they put telescope and see. But the problem is we see with our eyes only. Our eyes are imperfect. No matter how perfect you make this instrument, ultimately the knowledge we have to gain is through our imperfect eyes only, right? So how can I understand? Like a person is half blind. No matter how much beautiful uh, movie or whatever is there in front of him, he's half only he can see because he's not. He can if he see if eyes are only black and white. Whatever you keep color, so many colors, you can see only black and white. That is a problem. That means if you break something with the help of reactors or protons or whatever, the trouble is that it is impossible even to comprehend matter to the end. Now, now comes the important point. There are two things. What are the reasons why we cannot understand also? This is the most important reason. If you understand this, we have understood so much. What is the mistake that the modern scientists are doing when they are trying to comprehend the world? Please try to understand this. That this is Emil Kant. He is actually made this statement. Is a good, great philosopher. This is applicable to everything. Actually, what happens is when the scientists who are some sincerity is their philosophers, they are also revealed with very important knowledge. He says that everything has two aspects: ontological and morphological aspects. Morphological is the form. And this is the form of an object which is revealed outside. We can comprehend the morphological aspect because this is revealed. See, so this is my form or what I am presenting myself. This you all can understand. But there is something called ontological aspect which is incomprehensible. That means you cannot know me unless I tell about myself. You can know only my external things. And that is why it is impossible to know. Man man can be comprehended by morphological, like say if I cut a man into pieces and try to know him, I can know him something. But there is some other aspect of the person, his emotions, his feelings, his thoughts, that cannot be understood. Or there are so many things. So similarly, this is incomprehensible for any object. To understand another person as he reveals himself to external, but there is something ontological aspect which we can never understand a person, right? Now, similarly, everything in this world, even the world is incomprehensible because it has these two ways, and the comprehend to some extent when we slice it. If we try to understand a person in exactly the same way, we can understand him, but we cannot understand to the end. Now, what people are trying to do, they're trying to destroy the world to understand it, but they destroy themselves. This is what Krishna is trying to tell in the 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where he says that people who go in this way, they try to achieve something, but there is only destruction, degradation, and the whole world will be destroyed in this way. Now, the knowledge that comes as a result of approaching is destructive to the person himself. This is an important point. Like if we are trying to gain knowledge by destroying, that knowledge will destroy us. This is important. That's what is happening to the world presently. We are trying to understand world by destroying, but the knowledge which we got it will destroy. That is not the way to approach. If you want to try to study life, killing is not the way. There is another way to study life, at least which modern scientists do not know it. The understanding is it, it is not nothing can be understood. The initial approach of science is it's a proudly objective. This is very important point. So the approach of science to understand is objective. What is objective means? It is we try to objectify everything. That means I try to kill everything to study something, to make it an object of my study. That means I somehow turn it to the object of my study, destroy it. But the fundamental problem is that this is another important point. The fundamental problem is that this world is not an object in principle. This world, everything is subjective by nature. It is not objective. That means whatever we are seeing external is only just an objective form, but there is a subjective form of everything. Hope it is clear for you. Now, why? Because the first element of the creation is what? Ego. Everything has ego. Every element consists of this ego only. That means the creation starts with ego, false ego in goodness, passion, and ignorance. That means the background, the foundation of existence is subjective personality. The principle, in principle, does not lead itself for objectification. It will not allow us to objectify because it is subjective. Now, in order to understand a subject or being nature, the first thing is we must recognize that everything is a person. If I understand a person, then my approach to understand a person will be different. If I know I am a person, if somebody is a person, to know him, I cannot cut him to pieces and know him. My approach to him is completely different. And everything that exists has a personal nature in this world. This is the important topic to understand, that everything in this world has a personal nature. Now, problem is that because ultimately nothing is dead. Even if you take water, the experiment is done. When you say good words to the water and you see the sound vibrations, they are very pleasant. And you use abusive word to the water and you see the vibrations. It is completely what they produce is completely very distorted. That means it has an effect. It has a personal effect. There is only one way to comprehend a person. What is that way? Surrender. If I want to know about you, then what I should do? I should surrender to you. Unless you reveal to me, I cannot know who you are. And it is somehow to get in touch with a person and surrender to him or her. This is the weather. And this is completely a different approach. I will try to just understand a little bit from here. This is the important topic I need to understand. This is what the difference between Vedic study and modern studies. Modern physics. Now they are also coming to reaching this understanding somewhere, especially when they are dealing with quantum mechanics. At quantum level, they say that observer consciousness actually is connecting to the matter, corrects what is happening. If observer's consciousness is different and their observer on quantum level, it is different. Not only that, they say that there is a connection between two electrons. They're separated, they are at different places, but one can influence another. Even at quantum, they are understanding why this is influencing this electron. It is somewhere very far, but still has an influence. That much level of connectivity and personality is there in this matter world. It is always subjective. That means even they also started recognizing that there is nothing objective at that level, especially in quantum level. If you go down, this is a level of personality. Because why? Very simple. If you remember, first we have discussed this. The cause has effect on the effect. Cause has uh, uh, it is influence on the effect. The cause is manifested in the effect. The cause is person. The effect also has a personal nature. That is the point. Because God is personality, the reason is person. Since the reason is person, all that happens also has a personal nature. If God is impersonal, then everything will be impersonal in this world. But at all levels, there is a person. So this is a proof that Lord is not impersonal. It's even if you do a scientific research, you study through science also, we get this understanding that God is person because cause is person, the effect is also is acting like a person. And we can recognize or we may not recognize. The fact remains that the objects come from the subject and subject is not just external things. Science is trying to objectify this world, trying to kill. Well, the real nature of all things, all living entities are comprehended, things are needed to comprehend the personality. Hope till now it is clear. And now we will see. Now, scientists are trying to understand mesons, neons, and everything. Yes, Ilmati.
Yeah, so you said that the only way to know a person is to surrender to that person, right?
Yeah.
So the word surrender, I mean, I'm not talking about the fact that it usually has negative connotations. I'm not talking about that. I'm just wondering if you could say the same thing without using the word surrender, like use different words other than surrender. You know, what do you mean by surrender actually? When you say that the only way to know a person is to surrender to him, means what? Surrender.
Surrender basically is you have to recognize the person. You have to have a personal nature. This is the understanding. Now, first is initially recognize that the personal nature. And when people comprehend this world, it's not with they have um, uh, they need to know They need to go much more. Everything, say, if we are looking the description of the any outcome, like if you say constellation of stars, astronomy, or anything. Now we say, oh, Mars is not just a planet; it is a person. There is a Buddha, there is Guru, there is Shukra. They are all persons. Earth is also a person. Each star is a personal in nature. Now, if we are having a person, everything we are looking through a telescope or microscope, everything we are looking, it's a cognizant, it's a person. Now, when we are approaching something, that means we need to develop a relationship to understand a person. Relationship means what? Because it is a person, when we are approaching, it is person is much more complex to approach. To understand you, if I want to understand you, I need to obey, I need to develop a relation with you. That means I need to give up some of my things. Then only I can understand. So I had to sacrifice something. It's in way surrender only. Like,
Wait. To 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 know a person, I have to give up something of myself to know a person.
like say, how can I develop a relation with a person if I don't give up my things? If I am interested in the person, that means I have to do what he likes. I had to give him something he likes. I had to go spend my time. I had to purchase something and give him, spend my personal time with him. So some things I had to give him. Like for Krishna, I want to develop relation with Krishna. I am spending my personal time. I had to sit and understand about him, read about him, and know about him. Then only I can understand.
Uh-huh. So all those things you're describing as surrender.
In one way, it is. It is we have to indulge with the person.
Yeah, because this word surrender is a difficult word because it it means like different things to different people. Like normally when we think of surrender, we think, you're giving up something to the person. You're I mean, I know you just described that all these things that we give up, but I don't know, somehow the connotation just feels different. When I think of, you know, spending my time to get to know a person, right? Or doing things to please a person, that kind of doesn't really sound like the word surrender, you know?
Surrender means it's actually love also. You need to develop a relation with the person. Like I'll give another example in astrology, sorry, in Ayurveda. Ayurveda people, without any laboratories, without any complex equipments, without any tools, they know which herb can cure which disease. How did they know it? This person, they go to the forest, they try to develop a relation with that herb, and the herb will really reveal itself that I can cure all these things. That's all. Now, how did they know that this herb will cure? Who told it? The herb only revealed. Why? Because he developed a relation. Then it is revealing itself. That is the method they could gain all this knowledge. The knowledge was gained in relationship. Relationship means, how can you form relationship? Two people are staying means they have to accept other person's desire. The wife and husband are there. They need to, if one more person comes in the house, one more person means one more desire. Not one more desire, few more desires. A son, a child comes. So few more desires come in the house. That means they have to develop a relation with the child, means they have to obey whatever he desires or they fulfill his desires. And then they have a relation with the child, the new, and then another child comes, another desires. So another set of desires. They try to fulfill that child's desire so that they develop a relation. That's how indulgent we develop a relationship. That is what my
Uh,
understanding of what I am telling as surrender.
uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Means, of course, what you said is also correct. People have different. You have to raise your hands and say, "Okay, I am following you." In the sense, relation is always has a sacrifice in it. Some sort of some level of
Uh-huh.
sacrifice there. Otherwise, there is no relation, right?
Right, right. And so, and that
You have
way
to
we
sacrifice
call it,
something. Otherwise, where is the relationship?
right. And that sacrifice you calling surrender.
At one level, there is you are giving up your things,
Yeah.
surrendering things. That
Uh-huh.
is what
Okay.
I am trying to. The way of approaching is okay. I don't know about you. I fold my hands. Now you reveal about you. You tell me about yourself. If I'm folding my hands, I'm coming to you and going and say, I don't know about you. Please tell me. So then you go to a grass and say, okay, I don't know about you. Please tell me. And the grass will tell, okay, I can cure all these diseases. Okay, thank you. Take it and use it for the medicine. I surrendered
Hmm.
to the grass. Grass revealed to me, and I am using it for my treatment of my patients.
Yeah, well, that's another aspect also of surrender. Rather than just giving up, you know, your personal desires and putting the other person's desires, prioritizing the other person's desires, this other aspect is just acknowledging to the other person that, I don't know you. I can only know you whatever you reveal to me. That's like a very different aspect, it seems.
Yeah,
No?
yeah.
Okay.
Different to know any person, you have to sacrifice. You have to say that I acknowledge all these things come. Yeah, true. This all come under.
Uh-huh. So under surrender, yeah.
Because
Okay,
they are very
thank
subtle.
uh-huh.
You cannot know them on a gross level. They have to reveal. So this knowledge comes when we go this, when we, if with the persons who are directly personalities whom we can talk and all, for them we have to sacrifice. And when it comes to something like plants and even some other items, why people, this is another thing, why people are able to relate with laptop and mobile more than human beings. Because in relating it, there is some reciprocation from laptop. I can switch on some buttons and all, and I need not fulfill that person's desire. When it comes a relation in the person, there is one more person in the house, husband or wife. It is more difficult because from other side also something comes. But with laptop, I can say, okay, I want to hear the news. I want to see this. I want to do this, and laptop will obey everything what you say. You can you have some relation with him because it is reciprocating. But advantage is it will not demand anything from return. Sometimes it gives trouble. It may get switched off or something. But this is actually people want. This is how things are.
Yeah, so you're saying that we have closer relationship with laptop because with human beings, we're not necessarily going to get everything that we want from them.
We have to sacrifice. Na? Laptop no to sacrifice. You can do it yours.
Uh-huh. Well, that's another thing why, why people have closer relationship with their pets also.
Yeah, it's only one
Right?
side. Yeah,
Yeah, one-sided, one-sided. Yeah.
you get.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, Umakant through.
Can I answer more details about the question which is asked by the Prabhu? Am I permitted to do that?
Yes.
Yes, here the surrender which he's asking is like, there are different levels of surrender. Like, you are participating in a war and we find that the opposite army is stronger than me. Then what we do is that we say that, oh, I cannot fight with the opposite army, so let me surrender. So this is kind of one kind of a surrender, which we call as a worldly surrender. So wherein we are engaged in one kind of a conflict with other person, and we admit that because of my low power, I'm defeating myself, and I want peace because now I cannot fight with you. So that is called as a referred to as a worldly surrender. Now there is another surrender, like surrender in a relationship. Now you have a very good relationship with the person, and what happens is that you are allowing the other person to open, and you want to trust and you want to honest to a partner so that the other person opens up and you maintain a strong relationship with the other person. That is one kind of surrender. That is a surrender in relationship. Now there is one more surrender, like there is a master which is trying to teach you mathematics, okay, and you want to improve your mathematics skill. So what you do is that you admit that you do not know anything about mathematics. So I surrender to my educational master or a teacher so that I can improve my skills in mathematics. Okay. Now, here what Lord is talking about is a divine surrender. Okay, it is a profound act of devotion where you have a complete trust in other person, and the purpose of this surrender is that you want elevation from the cycle of the material world. So here only Lord is capable of doing this. So you are doing, you're surrendering all your firm beliefs, desires, everything to get liberation from this cycle of birth and death. And you know that Krishna is the ultimate authority, and he can only give me the liberation. So you surrender, letting go all your duties, attachments, and beliefs, and take refuge in the divine, believing him as the supreme personality of Godhead. So this surrender is what Prabhuji is referring here. It's called divine surrender. Hope I can put some light onto this. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Actually, I want to add one more surrender to it. You have done very nice. One more surrender is when we got here. One more surrender. What Brahmaji is going to talk is when we want to know the information about the things of this world. Also, we need to surrender to that objects, which is like mathematics teacher. You gave example. Similarly, with the not only with the person gaining knowledge teacher, even the objects also can give us information if we surrender to them. That is also one more thing. Thank you very much. Yes, Gail Mataji.
No, this last kind of surrender, I didn't understand when you said, what are you saying about objects?
Like I was telling, in Ayurveda, how they go to the object and the grass is revealing itself.
Yeah.
So that is, we go to it and we try to develop a relation with that grass, then it is revealing the knowledge.
Oh, but you already mentioned that one. I thought you said you were going to add one more.
This is what means he told about teacher. I am adding this also to it.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay, Umakant Reddy provides something he shared in the chat box. So you can go through it. He has written some nice information. He's also having so much knowledge about many of the things. Now, okay, we'll come to some of the discussions from the purport. We're going to cover our syllabus. This is actually 42nd shloka what we are discussing, but I thought we will and some more things are added. Maybe by tomorrow we can complete the topic. We'll reach 42nd with our notes. Yeah, non-living entities, that's not the point. There is nothing like non-living entities. Because the Supreme Lord is a person, all entities in this creation has some personality in it. Some personality is not like a soul, but it has that personal aspect is there for everything. That is the point. It is nothing is impersonal in this world. Yeah, there is personal aspect. Even electron, we were telling this quantums. It is also personal aspect. It is also having a relation. If you nicely approach them, they also reveal like that. So everything has a personal aspect in it. That is the point. Now, then we saw this is about Lord Ram. When Ravana was engaged in the battle, the tusks of the elephant, which carried the king of heaven, Indra, broke into pieces, having collided with the chest of Ravana and scattered broken parts, illuminated all directions. Ravana therefore felt proud of his powers and began to loiter in the midst of fighting soldiers, thinking himself the conqueror of all directions. But his laughter, overtaken by joy, along with very air of life, suddenly ceased with the twinkling sound of the bow of Ramachandra, the personality of God. Wow, what a beautiful description. Somebody want to, on Ram Navami, they want to glorify Lord Ram. They can read this shloka. They can buy heart. This is such a beautiful description. However powerful a living being may be, when he is condemned by God, no one can save him. And similarly, however weak one may be, if he is protected by the Lord, no one can annihilate him. When the Lord is overburdened When the world is overburdened by the fighting strength of kings who have no faith in God, the Lord, just to diminish the distress of the world, descends with his personal portion. The Lord comes in his original form with beautiful black hair. And just to expand his transcendental glories, he acts extraordinary. No one can properly estimate how great he is. Who is this? Krishna only. Bhume Suretara Varuta Vimaditaya Klesha Vyabhaya Kalaya Sita Krishna Keshaha Jata Karishyati Jananupalksha Marka Karmani Chatma Mahimopa Nibandina. He says that this verse is especially describing the appearance of Lord Krishna and his immediate expansion, Lord Baladeva. Both Lord Krishna and Lord Baladeva are one, supreme personality of Godhead. The Lord is omnipotent and he expands himself in innumerable forms and energies, and the whole unity is known as the one supreme Brahman. Such extension of Lord are divided into two divisions, namely personal and differential. The personal expansions are called Vishnu Tattva, and the differential expansions are called Jiva Tattva. And in such expansion activities, the Lord Baldev is the first personal expansion of Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the Vishnu Puran as well as in Mahabharata, both Krishna and Balram is mentioned as having beautiful black hair. Even in their advanced age, the Lord is called Anupalaksha Marga, or in still more technical Vedic terms, Avan Masa Gochara. Avan Masa Gochara is one who is never to be seen or realized by the limited sense perception of the people in general. Bhagavad Gita says, Naham Prakasha Sarvasya. He reserves the right not to be exposed to anyone, and only the bona fide devotee can know him by his specific symptoms, and out of many such symptoms, one symptom is mentioned here in this verse, that the Lord is Sat Krishna, Sita Krishna Kesha. So this is about Lord. We'll see some. The living entities who reside in Vaikuntha Loka are eternal life and bliss, have the same type of spiritual body without being affected by any signs of old age. That means whatever beauty Lord is possessing, the Vaikunthavas also are very beautiful like that. It is described in Bhagavatam, the party of Vishnudutas who came to deliver Ajamil from the clutches of the party of Yamadutas appeared like youthful boys. This is what is in spiritual world where we all want to go. Now, Prabhupada, right? The allegation that the impersonal Brahman appears in this material world by accepting material body is quite absurd. Absurd. Therefore, the Lord, when he comes here, have not a material body, but spiritual body. The impersonal Brahmajyoti is only the glaring effulgence of the body of Lord, and there is no difference in quality between the body of Lord and impersonal ray of the Lord called Brahmajyoti. Now, nice point. Now, the question is why the Lord, who is omnipotent, comes here to diminish the burden created by the world by the unscrupulous kingly order. Certainly, the Lord does not need to come here personally for such purpose, but he actually descends to exhibit his transcendental activities in order to encourage his pure devotees who want to enjoy life by chanting the glories of Lord. That means he is coming for his Mahatmas, and of course, he is want to deliver. All the Vedic literature meant for tuning one's attention towards the Lord and his transcendental activities. Thus, the activity of Lord in his dealing with worldly people create a subject matter for discussion by his pure devotees. That's what Tadvag Visargo Janatag Biplo Esmin Pratishloka Mamadhyavati Naman Anantasya Shonkitanyat Shinvanti Gayanti Grananti Sadavaha. So it causes a revolution in the misdirected hearts of this civilization. Tattva Visarga Janataga Viplo. Viplo means a revolution. It causes a revolution in the heart of the misdirected civilization. That is one thing. And also, Namani Ananta Sesham Srinvanti Gayanti Grananti Sadavaha. For pure devotees, they are nicely, happily reciting all these slokas and enjoy. But for a misdirected people, it causes revolution. It takes them to a right direction. There is no doubt that Lord Krishna is being the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, how was it possible for him to kill a giant demon like Putana when he was just on the lap of his mother, to overturn a cart with his leg when he was only 3 months old, to uproot a pair of Arjuna trees so high that they touched the sky when he was only crawling? All these activities were impossible for anyone other than the Lord himself. The Prabhupada is giving some nice point. He says that one cannot manufacture a god by one's mental speculation or by numerical votes. That means because you have so many followers, you cannot be God. One has, as has become a practice for the less intelligent class of men. God is God eternally, and an ordinary living entity is eternally a part and parcel of God. God is one without a second, and the ordinary living entities are many without number. All such living entities are maintained by God himself, and this is the verdict of Vedic literature. When Krishna was on the lap of mother, he killed Demana, then all this Prabhupada writes about Putana story, and then Prabhupada writes, in his Vamana incarnation, he posed himself as dark Brahmana, but when he took the possession of his land, promised by Bali Maharaj, he expanded his foot to the top of the universe, extending over thousands and millions of men. So it is not difficult for Krishna to perform a miracle by extending his bodily feature. It is, but he has no desire to do it because of his deep filial love for his mother. So for Krishna did not do all these expansions. He thought if Krishna had seen Yashoda had seen Krishna in her lap extending 6 miles in to cope with the she demon Putana, then the natural love of Mother Yashoda will fail. So Krishna didn't want to do that. He just remained like that and he killed all the demons. And proposed by undergoing severe austerity and penance, one cannot become one or equal with God, but one can attain mostly the godly qualities. A living being can attain godly qualities to a larger extent, but he cannot be God. Every and then at 3 months old, Prabhupada writes he killed Shakatasura, and then Amalarjunatis when Mother Yashoda is binding what is coming Damodar month for us. This is what is Krishna's glorification. And of course, some more things about Krishna's glorification. Then also when the cowherd boys and their animals drank the poisonous water on the river Yamuna, after that Lord in his childhood revived them by his merciful glance just to purify the water of the river Yamuna. He jumped into it as if playing and chastising venomous Kalia snake, which is lurking there, its tongue emitting waves of poison. Who can perform such Herculean tasks but the Supreme Lord? On the very night of the day of chastisement of Kalia, when the inhabitants of Rajabhumi were sleeping carefreely, there was a forest fire blazing due to dry leaves, and it appeared that all the inhabitants were sure to meet their death. But the Lord, along with Balram, saved them simply by closing his eyes. Such are the superhuman activities of the Lord. So Lord, it happened twice actually. When forest fire comes, Yoma, some demon. Forest fire is also when demon comes. Then Krishna tells all his boy friends, you close your eyes. And they close. And Krishna drinks all the forest fire. And say, why did Krishna tell to close eyes? He could have done in front of the boys. Then Krishna was afraid. What he was afraid? He said, Arey, my friends complain to my mother if I eat mud. And if they see I am drinking fire, they will again go and complain to Mother Yashoda. So he said, he closed eyes and he drank. Prabhupada, although in this verse the Lord's activities have been described as superhuman, it should be noted that the Lord's activities are always superhuman, and that distinguishes him from the ordinary living being. Uprooting a gigantic banyan or a Arjuna tree and exhausting a blazing fire, extinguishing a blazing fire by closing eyes are certainly impossible for any kind of human endeavor. And Prabhupada, whoever knows the human activities of the Lord due to their transcendental nature becomes eligible to enter into the kingdom of God. And Prabhupada writes, when the cowherd woman, for king's foster mother, Yashoda, was trying to tie the hands of her son with rope, she found the rope to be always insufficient in length. And when she finally gave up, Lord Krishna, and by opened his mouth, wherein the mother found all the universes situated. Seeing, she was doubtful in her mind, but she was convinced in a different manner of the mystic nature of her son. So this is another pastime of Lord, where Prabhupada, the mother was astonished, but out of her deep affection for Krishna, she thought that Almighty God Narayana had kindly looked upon her son just to protect him from all the continuous calamities happening to him. Because of her deep affection for Krishna, she could never think that her son was Narayana. That is the action of Yogamaya. Who can play such wonders without being God? For other incarnations, very less are given. For Krishna, so next to shlokas are this Sukadeva Goswami is telling about Supreme Lord. We will, actually, I was supposed to go to 42, but we'll see. Whatever. Yes, Gail Mataji.
Hi, Krishna Prabhu. I just want to ask a question before you end the class. So are you continuing?
Yeah, please ask the question.
No, because I needed to go back to the plants.
Okay, this one verse we'll read and then we'll go there.
Okay.
When the Lord was engaged in pastimes of rasa dance in the forest of Vrindavan, enlivening the sexual desire of the wives of the inhabitants of Vrindavan by the sweet and melodious song, a demon of the name Shankachuda, a rich follower of the treasure of heaven, Tuvera, kidnapped the dancers and the Lord severed his head from his trunk. This is, of course, I think, I missed one more. Missed 2, 3. Okay. 31 answer. Lord Krishna saved his foster father Nanda Maharaj from the fear of demigod Varuna and released the coward boys from the caves of mountains, for they were placed there by the son of Maya. Also to the inhabitants of Vrindavan, who were busy working during the daytime and sleeping soundly at the night because of their hard labor in the day, Lord Krishna awarded promotion to the highest planet in the spiritual sky. All these acts are transcendental and certainly prove without any doubt his Godhead. This one purport will take. Nanda Maharaj, the foster father of Krishna, went to take bath in Yamuna. This story we all know. How he was kidnapped by Varuna and then Krishna goes and brings back him. And they say that actually there is no arrest. There was no arrest of Nanda Maharaj by Varuna because the inhabitants of Vrindavan are always engaged in thinking of Krishna, in constant meditation on the personality of God, in particular form of samadhi or trance of bhakti. They had no fear of the miseries of material existence. So this is so practically they had very little time to devote to meditation or other paraphernalia spiritual activity. But factually they were engaged in the highest spiritual activity only. What is that? Everything done by them was spiritualized because everything was dovetailed in their relationship with Krishna. The central point of their activity was Krishna, and as such, their so-called activity in the material world were saturated with spiritual potency. That is the advantage of the way of bhakti. One should discharge one's duty on Lord's behalf and all one's actions will be saturated with Krishna through the highest pattern of trance in the spiritual revelation. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare.
Yeah. Well, actually, I just need to follow up on this last point. I don't think I heard properly. I think you were saying that Krishna, was it Krishna who was never arrested by Varuna? Or
No. Nanda Maharaj was arrested by Varuna because he goes for taking bath, but he goes a little early, and you are not supposed to
oh
take
yeah,
long
right.
time wickedness.
Yeah. And then I thought you said that actually you're making the connection between that fact and the fact that, the Brajbasis, they're always focused in meditation upon Krishna. And so therefore, yeah, I think I missed the point.
So the point is what? There is the Vrajavasis. It is said that here another point is made in this is that all their acts are transcendental. Sorry, in the translation of this, Prabhupada writes that they were all awarded the highest planet in the spiritual way. Krishna awarded promotion to the highest planet to all Vrajavasis. Now the point is how the Vrajavasis are awarded, what type of yoga they did, what type of meditation they did. It looks like they were working very hard in their engaging in daytime and hard labor, and night they are soundly asleep. So practically they had very little time to devote to meditation or other paraphernalia spiritual activity. But actually they were engaged in highest spiritual activity only. Why? Everything done by them was spiritualized because everything was dovetailed in their relationship with Krishna. So in that way they are in the highest yogis. That's why Krishna award is the highest planet. That is the point. Because their
So,
central point of activity was Krishna, and so all their activities, even they look material, but they are saturated with spiritual potency. That is the advantage of Bhakti Yoga.
so you're saying even Nanda Maharaj, who is the point that he was only externally arrested by Varuna because
Oh, there are two pastimes here. Varuna pastime is separate, and another pastime is where this Vrajavasis are taken to the spiritual world. That is the point. Varuna pastime is different. Varuna is in the Mandana is arrested and he was taken there, and then Krishna comes and liberates Nanda Maharaj. That is a different pastime. There is another pastime where it is mentioned all the translation Sukadeva Goswami is mentioning that all the inhabitants when they are sound asleep they are taken to the spiritual abode. And why did they go
yeah,
without doing any spiritual activity? Because all their activity is spiritual.
right. But okay, then what was your reason for bringing up the Nanda Maharaj pastime? What was the reason for that? For you
But
bringing up this?
oh, no. Sukadeva Goswami, he is explaining at a time two pastimes in this translation of text 31. First, Sukadeva Goswami says, Nanda Maharaj from the fear of demigod Varuna was released. And then he tells another pastime, the cowherd boys from the caves of Vyomasur, they was released. And then he says that the inhabitants of Vrindavan, they were busy during daytime and sleeping sound at night. And Krishna awarded them the highest perfection. So then he is telling all these pastimes. And Prabhupada in the purport, he explained that Krishna helped Nanda Maharaj to come out of Varuna. And then immediately he tells the next reason. Even though these people are working very hard daytime and they were released and they were sent to the highest spiritual planet, it looks that they are not doing any spiritual activity. And for what reason they are sent to the spiritual world? Because they are always meditating on Krishna. They are doing the highest spiritual activity. That is
Yeah, Prabhu, I'm just trying to, make some connection between, there's a reason why he is choosing these pastimes to relate to us, right? It's not just random.
Oh, these are means if you see, he just first he told about Krishna where Mother Yashoda is uh, Mother Yashoda is he killed actually Putana, then which happened in Gokul, and then immediately comes to pastime which happened with Kalia in the river Yamuna, and then Kalia only he
Yeah,
gives. Then he's telling that blazing fire, and then next he's telling this how Yashoda is trying to bind Krishna, and then she could not bind him, and then he show
I know,
universe
but
more. But it
but
is
what is
happened in Gokul. It did not happen in
I
Vrindavan.
know, but is there like a common thread why he is choosing these pastimes to
Does
talk
not look
about?
like that. He's just speaking because it is no connection only. Because he told Gokul pastime and then he tells Vrindavan pastime. Again, he's telling Gokul pastime of Mother Yashoda binding Krishna, seeing universal form. That is in Gokul. There is
Yeah,
no.
that's what's confusing me because I would think that it wouldn't just be so random, you know. I would think that there is like some kind of
It
huh?
is just mentioning. It looks random only. Just mentioned. Like say you tell Krishna's first time. Oh, he killed Kali also. Are he showed universal form also to Mother Yashoda. He killed Putna also. Then Vyomasur also. He delivered his. It looks like that. Of course, there may be some sequence. Acharyas if they give maybe Vishwanath
Uh,
Chakravarti comes you can see, but it does not look
oh,
any.
uh, okay. So I guess I was looking too deep. Um,
I didn't say.
Prabhu, Prabhu, I just quickly, if I could just ask a question about the plant thing again. Those who are into Ayurveda, they will go and surrender to the plant, but we know that plants are covered over like infant in the womb or something like that, right? So when they get this knowledge about what the plant can do, isn't it probably more the super soul revealing to the person what the plant can do rather than the plant itself revealing? Isn't it super soul? Because the plant is practically unconscious. It cannot reveal anything in that condition, right?
Yeah, I am also not sure how it is revealed. Of course, it is super soul only. Any knowledge comes matta smritir jnanam. It is super soul only is revealing. In that way, that is true also. Uh, because the super soul reveals. But the person, the plant also must be having some feelings. If it is feeling good, then only the super soul of the plant will reveal to us. There should be some feeling for the plant. Otherwise, why super soul will of the plant? Of course, there is only one super soul. It is there is some feeling for that. Like say now I am coming to you and you are revealing about yourself. Even if you want to reveal also the energy, the strength, it is all from super soul only comes. In that way, it is super soul only acting. But it is your desire also to reveal, no? To about yourself. If I ask Mataji, what do you like? What type of prasadam? If you are revealing, it is the energy is from super soul, but it is your desire to reveal it. In that way, there is a desire of the tree to reveal when it feels that there is some very good vibration that is coming to it.
Okay, so what happens is that let's say we're talking about two human beings, and I want to reveal, because of how you are dealing with me, I want to reveal myself to you.
Yeah.
So even if I want to reveal myself to you, you're saying that that cannot happen unless the super soul conveys that to you. I cannot do that directly, is it?
Because any activity have five factors, right? One is super soul
Yeah,
also.
yeah. Right. Okay, so I guess I just thought that, the plant would be too covered over to even have that any kind of feeling like,
It
to
must
even
not
recognize.
even water has feeling. Even any object, it is has this personal nature. That is the point. Every item in this world, because the creator is personal, everything has this personal nature, and when you approach in a personal way, everything in this world is revealed. But if you go it in objectively trying to break it understand, we cannot understand. If you want to understand properly any object, we have to go in a subjective way, then we can understand.
Well, when it comes to what we normally see as inanimate objects, right? Those
They are
that don't
also
have,
having a personal nature in it, even though it is inanimate. That's what quantum physics I was telling. Na? If you approach the consciousness of the observer has an effect on the quantum atoms, and one electron is influencing another, even though it is very very far. So there is having that personal in nature is there, even whatever we say the inanimate
yes,
object.
and that we're saying that personal nature is only due to the fact that it's Krishna's energy, and Krishna is
Because
a person. Isn't that
his
what?
creation has an effect on this creation. Creator has an effect on creation because he is personal. His creation is also personal.
Mm. Okay, Prabhu. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. I hope I satisfied you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. That's why I put two veries. Very, very.
You made my day today.
You always make my day, Prabhu. Thank you.
Now your day is
Every
ending.
day.
That's today. Hare Srila Prabhupada
Very
ki
good.